Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live, and hope you're having a great start to your day. And I want to say hello. Hi, Nick. How is you? From our staff, Rosalinda, Niagara Falls. Good morning, Roseanne and Nativity and John from Elgin, Illinois. Good to have you on. Edith, how are you? And Kevin from Oshawa, Troy, our buddy, and Doc from Newfoundland, and Doris, and Mary, and Wendy, and Yolanda, and Barbara, Andrea, Francis Marie, good morning, Luella, Nellie, thanks for coming on. Michelle from Tennessee. Well, Michelle, how are you? Elise, Micheline, good morning. Debbie, hope you're having a great start to your day. Bernice, Peggy, nice to have you on. Ziane, bonjour. Anne, Nouveau-Brunswick, Thelma, and Connie. How are you, Connie? Fran, how you doing? Orangeville, Jeanette, Suzanne, Deb, good morning. Maria, somebody said I missed them yesterday. I don't know. When the thing scrolls by, I better say it quick. Jean, Gloria, good morning. Mike, okay, from Norland. Couple more. You know what we're talking about today is stress. Lise, Leela, Frank, hey, how are you, Frank? Regina, Vivian, and Sue, good morning. Samuel from Florida. I've got a son-in-law, and I call him Samuel. Jennifer, Vera, Danny, Francis, we love you. Helen, how are you? Okay, ready to go, guys? Sherry, Patricia, and Tracy. Couple more. Marilyn, I hate to miss people. Indian River, Maryland. Okay, Mary Jane, and Lise. Rosa. Sylvia. Okay. How does stress... we talked about this yesterday because when we were talking about colorectal cancer, we were talking about some of the factors. It's Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. And I'm not against these awareness months. I really am not. Like I think October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and, I don't know. Prostate is November, Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. And yeah, I don't mind that people are aware of it and should be made aware of it, but they don't often talk about preventing cancer, do they? Prevention in medicine is detection, early detection. And I'm not against that either. But I think that there should be a fair amount of time talking about how to prevent colorectal cancer, how to prevent breast cancer, how to prevent prostate cancer, and any cancer, how to prevent it. Now, look, guys, I think we all understand this. There's, in this world, we're going to age. We're going to die. I mean, those are just absolutes. But we want to try and, as much as possible, take care of ourselves. I think that we all agree with that. You wouldn't be watching this program unless you believe that. And, what I try and do mostly is give you tools give you tools, give you information to protect thyself. Okay? Physician, heal thyself. And that's an important thing, because even for me, I don't want to preach at you guys and then not do it myself. Because people often ask me, especially on the private Facebook group, like, what's Dr. Martin eat? Okay. And I'm married to an Italian. What Dr. Martin eat, and what does Dr. Martin drink, and what does he do for exercise, and this kind of thing. And guys, I really try, and I mean that. Anybody that knows me, my family and friends, know that I'm a pretty disciplined person. I have to be, because I got bad genetics, and you can override genetics. I'm absolutely convinced about that. If your family and your family history is not good, ours certainly isn't. There was diabetes coming out both years, cancers, lots of it in our family. And look, I'm doing everything I can. I'm doing everything I can personally, and I do nothing. I shouldn't say that, but I do nothing. It seems like research all the time. I'm going through every study I can find so I can help myself and then help you. And I mean that. It's terrible to have a closed mind. I think that's been a huge problem in medicine over the years, that they've coined this term now, especially in the last couple of years, follow the science. Well, they're not really following the science. What that means is we don't want to discuss it. That's what it means. When they say, let's follow the science, they don't want to have a discussion about the issue. Really. It's couched behind that term, And medicine, it's not only politicians do it, medicine, they're famous for it. In the 1960s and the 1970s, don't ask me questions. Why are you asking me questions? I'm a doctor. That used to be, I'm a demigod. You can't ask. But today they're better at it, and I try and influence the situation as much as I can. I talked to a couple of doctors yesterday, as a matter of fact, and I was sort of patting them on the back, because I said, you guys got, at least your mind is open to information. Just read. Read. Study. Okay? And so, anyway, I think I just stressed myself out. We're going to talk about the effects of stress, okay, on your body. And I want to just spell it out, because there's study after study after study. You wouldn't believe the studies coming out on people who are stressed and what that does to your body. Now, I told you yesterday that is a major factor. It is pouring gasoline on cancer cells, colorectal cancer cells. And I've talked, I don't know how many times, how cancer cells proliferate in the presence of high cortisol. It's pouring gasoline on the fire. So let's go through, how many did I write down here? 6, but there may be a few more. I'll think of them as I go through, okay? What does stress do to your body? Now remember again, okay, this is important. Your body is made for stress. It is. You have your adrenal glands, adrenal, on top of kidneys. And those little chestnut-shaped glands on top of the kidney, not very big, they're small, but they're very important. And if someone scares you, if someone's chasing you, you have a mechanism in your body to deal with that. It's called the adrenals. And the adrenals, from the brain to the adrenals, if I say I'm going to give you a little question. I'm pointing up to my brain. What center in the brain gets your adrenals to secrete adrenaline, cortisol? What center is, okay? Tick, 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 tick. You guys should know this. Remember, 2 centers in the brain, 2 major centers, and the one that deals with hormones is called the hypothalamus. You're right. It's the hypothalamus. You're absolutely right. Again, you guys happen to be, my audience happens to be, and I know this for a fact, for lay people. And I was boasting about you guys the other day. The smartest audience in all of the audiences I know, because I watch a lot of YouTubes and stuff like that, and you guys are the smartest. I mean it. From a lay perspective, you know more. Anyway, okay, so now your body is equipped. The problem is when cortisol is this, okay? You can sort of feel it. It's inside. Your body is in the fight or flight. And when that don't get turned off, you're in deep doo-doo. Because there's a lot of things that happen. Cortisol is a distraction for your body. It's meant to be very temporary. I'm getting chased. Okay. I'm running, or I'm kicking, or I'm punching, or I'm skedaddling. Okay? But if it continues, there's at least 6 things that happen in your body that are detrimental to your body, that are not good for you in the long term. And we discussed one yesterday. Let's start with that. Because when you're in the fight or flight, your body's not thinking about, oh, you know what? There's a virus too. By the way, I'm running away. I'm scared. The hairs on the back of my head are standing up and I'm uptight and all the blood has gone to my muscles and things like that. And you know what? Numero uno, the immune system takes a hammer. Your T cells, they're not thinking of fighting a virus. Your T cells are your Navy SEALs in your immune system. They're not thinking of fighting an infection. They're not thinking of fighting cancer cells because, you know what, guys? You are so fearfully and wonderfully made. I'm telling you, if you don't believe in God, I don't know what to say to you. Because your body, when it sees a cancer cell, you think it doesn't know it? Of course it knows it. It says, there's a cancer cell and it don't belong. Just like a virus or a bacteria. That doesn't belong here. Your body produces an antigen. Your body says, you are gonzo. And I've shown it to you in the past. You can Google this and go on YouTube and look at it. Put in a white blood cell chasing a bacteria. Watch it. Live and in color. I used to do it all the time in the office, and I'd show my patients. Look, your immune system's working. It's chasing down a bacteria or a parasite. Look at it. and it would swim through the ocean of your blood. It had a beeline. Blink. It had its radar right on that bug, and it was fun to watch. But that's how your immune system works for your cancer cells. You got cancer cells in your body as we speak. So do I. Little renegade cells. Bad news cells. And your immune system's meant to go after it. But what if it's getting distracted? Your immune system is, you're in the fight or flight. Your immune system is, the T cells are not on guard. They're not watching. And that's all right if it only lasts for a minute or two. But what if it's going on and on and on? What happens? Your immune system. That is why I tell you, this is why I use the term your cortisol, because that's the hormone you should think about. Cortisol is pouring gasoline on the fire of cancer cells. Okay? It doesn't start the cancer, but it now accelerates it. So your immune system gets distracted. Okay? Now, I got to talk about this because this has to do with immunity too, because this is a factor, but you will understand this when I say it. You know what gets affected by high levels of cortisol over a period of time? Your sleep. Now, I'm writing a new book coming to a theater near you, okay? I've already named it. Should I tell you? Sun, steak, steel, sleep. All S's, okay? And I'm getting there. I'm just about, you know what? I'm really got to bear down and finish it up, okay? But I've been writing. And I talk about sleep. And is it 70 more percent of the population don't get enough sleep? What's that do? Well, it decreases your immunity. We know that. Why? Because when you don't sleep, when you don't get into the 4 phases of sleep, physiologically, your body changes. What happens? Here's one. This is a study that come out many a time, because anybody that studied it, they come to the same conclusion. When you don't sleep, your immune system goes down, and they prove it by a virus, the cold virus, the flu virus, in particular viruses. They don't talk to you about cancer, but I do. When you don't sleep, guess what happens? When you don't sleep, your cortisol goes up. When your cortisol goes up, you don't sleep. What a vicious circle that is. And I'll tell you, in my days of practicing, I saw that so much. It was like I could close my eyes. Wouldn't even have to look at the testing. I just knew it. It was unbelievable. Ask my staff. Ask Jeanette. Ask Nicole. That worked with me for years. They saw it every day, and several times a day. So what happens? You don't sleep. You don't sleep, your cortisol goes up. And like I said, it's so prevalent in society today. Now, This is a little sidebar. When you don't sleep, okay? When you don't sleep, you don't get rid, you know what autophagy, whatever you call it, because I'm no good at it. Dr. McEwen tried to get me to say it properly. I said, hey, I don't know if it's because I'm a Frenchman or whatever. I can't say that word that you said. Autophagy or autophagy or who cares? What it means is your self-cleaning oven in your brain. Okay? You got your own lymphatics in your brain to get rid of garbage. Your brain produces a lot of energy. You know, it's like a manufacturing plant. Well, okay, part of a manufacturing plant is you got debris. You got garbage. You got to get out. Well, if you don't sleep, your brain don't clean itself. Because your self-cleaning oven in your brain only works when you're sleeping. You think that could be a factor in dementia? And then, again, you know me and rabbit trails. I can't help myself. Because if I think of it, I got to tell you. And then people, you know what they do? They take sleeping pills. They sedate themselves. And I understand why. Doc, I can't sleep. I got to sedate. They don't think of sedation. They think it's a sleeping pill. But a sleeping pill is sedation. You ever feel good after having surgery when they sedated you? Like you come out of it. Like, yeah. And you know what, guys? Your body doesn't. Your brain, you might think you're sleeping. You're not sleeping. You're sedated. And your brain's not, the self-cleaning oven in the brain's not working. It doesn't work when you're sedated. It's only when you sleep. Especially when you get into the REM sleep. Anyway, I get excited, as you can tell. But it's so important to lower cortisol. The double whammo of not sleeping. Your immune system. You don't sleep, you get a cold too. A lot of people get recurring infections because they don't sleep properly. It has a big effect on the immune system, and cortisol sure does. Okay? So we talked about that. The digestive system. I don't know if I'm going to finish in time. I'm thinking how I get sidetracked. The digestive tract. Well, again, your body is not thinking about digestion and eating when you're stressed. You might even be more hungry but it's a distraction for your diet because the blood supply has gone to your muscles and not to your gut. That disrupts your microbiome. It disrupts your digestion. It is a big factor in IBS. It's a big factor in diverticulosis. It's a big factor in irritating the bowel and your stomach. We already know about acid reflux. That it gets affected by stress. A lot of people, they don't, because, and you go to your doctor and I can't find anything. I know, but doc, if you'd only ask me questions about the amount of stress I'm under. When's the last time your doctor talk to you about, I better do a cortisol test? You know what? Anyway, I don't want to get angry because I'm not, but they just don't learn so much, because when they think of the adrenal glands, I'm just talking about generally, they're thinking about either Addison's or Cushing's disease. They're not thinking about your daily stress. Well, your doctor's going, I'm stressed too. What are you worried about? Because it has a major effect on the body. Immunity, sleep, digestive tract. It's a diversion, guys. It diverts energy to the wrong place. Okay? If it goes on for a while. Okay? The digestive tract. Now, the other one is chronic inflammation. Because think about it. Okay? You don't even know what's going on inside. You get used to it in a way, but your body is wound up. That creates inflammation. You don't know it necessarily, because when people think of inflammation, they think of pain. And that might be. But most inflammation is silent, guys. It's silent. You don't hear. You don't know. And again, most physicians, not all, most physicians don't even look for that. What is your CRP? C-reactive protein. A silent inflammation. You know what inflammation does in your body, guys? Okay? It's like you gotta, okay, think about this for a minute. I'm showing you my underarm here, okay? What if I was to take sandpaper? Okay? Got it? I'm going to take some sandpaper. I don't have sandpaper, but pretend. And I do this. Okay? Okay. Well, hey, you just made yourself a little wound there. What if I just keep doing it? Sandpaper. Holy moly, like I'm wearing down all. Guys, that's what inflammation does to your blood vessels. That's why stress is a big factor inside your little Teflon layer of your blood vessels, your endothelial layer of your blood vessels. You get the sandpaper rubbing on it because you're like this stressed. And you don't know it. You don't know it because there's no obvious. There's no obvious signs to it. But inflammation creeps up and it damages blood vessels. And that's why even medicine will agree with this. Inflammation is a real big factor in cancer, cardiovascular disease, and Alzheimer's, and diabetes, and autoimmune, well, if they disagree with that, then they got to disagree with all the research. Inflammation, though, remember this. Inflammation, you know the Martin Clinic saying, is not Houdini. It's not Houdini. It doesn't just show up. There has to be a root to it. And at the Martin Clinic, you and I know each other. What do we say? High circulating insulin, food. leaky gut, oxidative damage, then stress, pouring gasoline, inflammation, big time. It is a silent killer. Chronic inflammation, not necessarily pain, guys. Okay, I'm not saying that there can't be pain, but most times it's silent. You don't even know it's happening inside your body. And that's what makes it so dangerous, inflammation. The silent type that goes on and it's doing this with sandpaper to your blood vessels and your cells. Big factors, aren't they, in cardiovascular? Think about it. Anyway. Guys, I love teaching you guys. You know what we're going to do with this? We're going to make it a 2-part series. I got to do it again tomorrow because I got other ones I got to talk about. Okay? I got to talk about it. So let's make this a 2-parter. What does stress do to your body? How does it irritate the body? What are the big systems of the body that get affected by it? And I want you guys to understand this because it's a very important factor. This is one of the reasons, guys, I'll just close with this. It's one of the reasons I was so uptight about the lockdowns. I understand politicians. I understand I believe they have good okay, I don't want to get into a political argument, okay? I don't. What I'm saying is, what Dr. Martin was worried about is something that I perceived would be the fallout of this, was the mental health, including depression and anxiety and the amount of cortisol. I said, because let me say this. A doctor said, well, several doctors have said, you know how many cancers we're going to miss? Because he was thinking of early detection, you see, and I don't disagree with that. But you know what I was saying? You know how many cancers we're going to miss? Because cancer started because of the stress levels of fear. And young people especially. Colorectal cancer should be an old man's disease. An old man's disease. That's what it used to be. Colorectal cancer was an old man's disease. Not anymore. It's a young person's disease. And one of those factors is stress. Big time. That's why I was, one of the reasons I was screaming from the mountaintops. Would people at least admit that we have an immune system and that we ought to, if nothing else, take care of ourselves? But anyway. Ooh. I am having so much fun this morning, I can't get over it. Okay, now, guys, Friday, question and answer. And we're going to be on in the mornings pretty well, okay? As far as I know, all week. Tell your friends. And guys, share this information. Share it. Share. Not sharey. Share it. Okay? I don't know nothing about Facebook, okay? I don't. I really don't. I don't know nothing about nothing. But what I know is that the reason this show is so popular is because of you guys, and you share it, and you get people to join our email list, and join our Martin Clinic private Facebook group. We appreciate that big a time. And the podcast, the Doctor is In podcast. And you've made those very, very popular, and we thank you for that. That's you guys. That's not me. That's you. Okay. I love you guys. We talk to you soon.